Financial in the Black. I'm your host, Paul Gebhardt. Today we're with founder, Mr. Chance Robinson of Strong Point Financial. Welcome to the program, Chance.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you, man. And to be honest, I'm super excited to ask you about this wonderful thing in the middle of my table because it reminds me of something like medieval. Can I get a shot of that, guys? Yeah. Isn't that beautiful? So tell me, what is this? What am I looking at here?
So this is actually one of our menus. At the office, we're really big on the client experience. In the financial industry, let's be realistic. All of the different financial offices that you can go to, it's not like everybody has this proprietary product that everybody's working on secretly, that they got this secret sauce. Like, what separates us is the relationships that we have and the service that we provide to our clients. That's what really separates us, and we take a big emphasis on that client service. So our menu is filled with, we have an in-house chef, which is my wife.
What?
Yes. So we have an in-house chef who's preparing charcuterie boards and different snacks and things when a client comes in. We make sure that that experience is second to none for sure.
Charcuterie board. I can't even say the word. In your office for that. Man, that's fantastic. So what's your wife's name?
So Tila Marie.
Tila Marie. Hello, yes. Tila. So tell me, you got to tell us the story. So how did you guys meet?
Oh, how cliche is this? The finance guy meets his wife at the bank.
What?
That's
You met her at the really?
I met her at the bank. So it's a funny story. So we both bank at the same place, and I'd never seen her before. But I go into the bank, and everybody knows me there. I speak to everybody. I'm talking to all the reps and everything. So everybody's talking to me. I sit down with my banker, and we're talking about things, and all of a sudden everybody stops paying attention to me, and they're all gravitating towards somebody else, and I'm like, hold on, like, I'm not chopped liver sitting here, everybody's ignoring me,
Right.
So they're all over talking to her, and I asked my banker, I was like, who is that? And he tells me, oh, that's Miss Lamb at the time, and he was like, yeah, I think she's single. I said, well, introduce me, bring her over. So she comes over, we swap business cards, and we started talking the next day and haven't stopped talking since.
Oh, that's a great story.
Yeah.
So I understand your why now, my friend.
Yeah.
And so now we're talking about the good folks out there, and we're going to get into some of their whys, because that's what we're doing here, isn't that?
Yeah.
True, Chance? I mean, it's taking care of your families, the people that you love.
Absolutely.
Your kids, your grandkids, your futures. Let me ask you, what is one of the biggest risks you see to a person's financial future?
I think it's one that's untalked about in our industry. I think a lot of advisors overlook the importance of it, and it's healthcare planning. That is it. It's
really?
Healthcare planning. I think, we have all of these different options that are thrown at us, and they come out with these different laws or different rules. I have to buy insurance. Never mind, I don't have to buy insurance. And then I turn 65 and I'm forced to take their insurance, So there's all of these different things, and I can build you the best financial plan or investment plan or whatever that may be, but a health situation will tear that all up if that's not taken care of correctly. So that is one of the biggest things that I think is just overlooked in the industry, understanding the importance for healthcare planning.
Right, because the rest of it doesn't matter, right?
Right.
If you haven't planned for healthcare and it's sucking money out of all the other assets.
Right.
Wow, that's well said, powerful. So some of the things that folks can do. So what's one of the key components to a good healthcare plan?
So, from healthcare planning, you really have two options, right? If I am under 65, I have to look at some form of major medical, whether that's through the healthcare exchange on healthcare.gov, or if it's, a short-term major med, or through my employer, or whatever that may be. I need to understand the importance, the important parts or aspects of that plan. I need to look at my summary of benefits. I need to look at my deductible. I need to look at my max out of pocket. I need to look at my copays and see what is the worst thing that could happen in a year for me. If that number is, $10,000, $20,000, I need to make sure that as part of my plan, that's never going to affect the rest of my plan that I have going on. So understanding that aspect. And then, when we look at the opposite end of it, when we're talking about Medicare planning, I have to look at, the different parts. We know there's Part A, which pays the hospital bills, and Part B, which pays the doctor bills. And then you have, C and D and every other letter alphabet letter that comes into it.
The alphabet soup.
And I think, both of these are the epitome of, our government in general. Let's say this. Our political counterparts usually come up with these grand ideals. And they could be good ideals that help a lot of people. But I think what always happens consistently is the execution is done so poorly. It's Obamacare rolled out and the website crashed and nobody could get on, and then Medicare comes out and nobody understands it. There's 700 plans.
Yeah. Chance, that's the old joke, actually, right? The reason they're in government because they weren't that good in business. so there you go,
Right.
No.
So all of those different aspects. So understanding, the major medical is your deductibles and copays, on Medicare supplements, understanding those same things, the summary of benefits. Am I going? And I know we get bombarded with information.
Oh, you ain't kidding.
Right? From the time I'm close to turning to 65, there's 600 phone calls a day. There's 1,000 pieces of mail. There's commercials on TV. Free this, free that, free this. A lot of people need to understand how simple it really is. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't let it be a difficult thing. There's really only 3 plans to pay attention to. Everything else is noise so often, and people just get bombarded with so much of it. They become paralyzed and don't know what to do.
Yeah, information overload.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's a key point of what you said. Let me ask you, taxes seem to be involved in every aspect of our planning too. Taxes, are they a big component that can affect our healthcare planning as well?
More than anything else.
Really?
Once you start really calculating what tax rate you're paying, you're taxed when you earn it, you're taxed when you spend it, you're taxed when you save it, you're taxed when you grow it,
you're taxed when you
leave it to somebody else. Right. Yeah, I mean, it's atrocious what happens when you don't pay attention to it.
Yeah, that's the truth. So let me ask you this question. I know you have a wonderful offer for the viewers out there, because there are people right now in Florida that are curious, right? You've talked about a lot of things that are front of mind for them. Some of these topics are keeping people up at night, Chance.
Right.
But you want to be a part of the solution.
Absolutely.
Right? Share with the good folks of Florida what you're offering today when they call you.
So we have a Retirement Insider Report, and that Retirement Insider Report is broken down into 5 key areas of retirement planning. It goes into healthcare planning, tax planning, income planning, investment planning, and then legacy planning. Every aspect that's involved in retirement, all taken into one report, into one holistic approach. This way you know exactly what's going on, why you made what decision you made, and a specific plan on how to follow it to accomplish whatever goal it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Accomplishment. I love that word, because the bottom line is, isn't it awesome how you feel right after you accomplish something? Now could be that moment. Right now, you could call, make an appointment with Chance and his team, changes your entire life. Imagine what that would feel like. Pick up the phone, give his team a call, 855-348-3018. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more into the tax strategies and tax ideas for you. So stick around. We'll be right back after these short messages.
Call 855-348-3018 now to receive your complimentary tax map with your Retirement Insider Review. Learn multiple strategies that can protect you from higher taxes now and in the future. Taxes are a threat to your financial stability in retirement. Protect yourself from the potential threat of rising taxes. As a retirement planning financial advisory firm, Chance and his team will help you navigate the financial waters to pursue your retirement goals. Call 855-348-3018 today. Chance and his team provide inclusive retirement services such as investment directives for your portfolio, income-producing strategies, and wealth preservation plans for your family and legacy. Call Chance and his team at 855-348-3018 now for your complimentary tax map with your Retirement Insider Review. Discover tax strategies to keep more of what you have saved in retirement, or use the QR code below to schedule today.
Welcome back, everyone, to Strong Point Financial in the Black. I'm your host, Paul Gebhardt, with founder, Mr. Chance Robinson of Strong Point Financial. Great segment. Talked a lot about, health planning, taxes, how, taxes touch everything. To your point, I mean, it feels like you're taxed every time you turn around, right?
Right.
So knowing the situation in the country today, you've heard a lot of talk about taxes. Are they going to go up or not? everybody, the traditional languages, yes, it's probably going to have to at some point.
Right.
What is one of the biggest challenges for people to really change their mindset away from tax preparation to tax strategies, Chance?
Well, people need to understand the realization. I mean, just look back at the history of our country. Have taxes gone up or gone down? We know they've increased, and we know that we have a tax increase coming. We know that for sure. We know the Tax Cut and Jobs Act expires in 2025. Now, we anticipated that they were going to raise taxes back to what they were previously before we had the Tax Cut and Jobs Act. But that was prior to us having a pandemic and spending $7 trillion on this pandemic to get us out of the situation. I just can't see how it's feasible to go back to just what we were. They're going to have to raise them. And they're already kind of touting it of raising corporate taxes and things that are being proposed across Congress right now. So it's preparing now and understanding that there's opportunities to take advantage of the low tax rates that we have right now. If I have qualified funds, if I have 401ks or traditional IRAs or things like that, do I want to pay a higher tax or a lower tax on it? That's part of one of my, I'd say that's my number 2 concern when I meet with somebody.
Really?
First is, how do I protect what's there? How do I make sure that you're always going to be okay? Second is, I'm not against paying taxes. I was in the military. I understand the need for taxes. But I am against paying a penny more than you have to.
Right.
If I can be in that 3% bracket like the billionaires, I want to be in the 3% bracket.
Right. No problem then, right?
And helping people get there. That's where I'm looking at. So if I have the opportunity to be able to do that and to show you like, hey, this makes sense, because we don't want to sit in a situation where right now I pay a 22% tax on converting this or doing this, or maybe what this is, to now, a couple years later, I'm at a 30% or 32% or whatever it may be that they raise it to. We know it's going to be more than what it is right now. Taxes are historically low right now.
So there are specific strategies that folks can put in place around a plan
Absolutely.
to make sure they protect their assets, correct?
Correct, absolutely.
And it's most important to be proactive, you would suggest, right?
Right.
What's one of the biggest areas you find people make a mistake, though, in tax planning? I mean, is it just that they procrastinated, or is it because you think maybe they don't know what their options are? Is that what it is? What is it?
It's a combination. Let's say this. Once again, our political counterparts don't exactly make it easy. The tax code is not quite simple.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So understanding there's so many different avenues and so many different plans and so many things that I can implement to get me into those lower brackets or to pay less amounts. And they affect so much, especially going into retirement. It depends on how much I make. When do I, for instance, take Social Security? Am I going to be taxed on Social Security? How much of it will I be taxed on? I mean, there's so many different aspects. Am I going to pay this? Am I drawing out RMDs? There's so many different aspects that you need a plan. I can't stress it enough. Protect what you can't afford to lose.
Absolutely right. So you mentioned RMDs. Is that required minimum distribution?
Required minimum distribution,
Fantastic.
Correct.
So I understand you got a new book out.
Right.
Right? There's a whole section dedicated to taxes on it.
Right.
You want to share a little bit about your book and what inspired it?
Yeah, so, like I said before, I've been on many of networks and talked to, the audience through the TV the way that I am now. And I wanted to have something more concrete that was going to help people to be able to take action and to say, hey, what steps can I do now to start putting myself in a better situation? So I wrote the book. I wrote the book, and I put all of those things in there. If you hadn't realized, I'm the kind of person, I want to help all the time, and I want to make it easy enough and simple enough that you understand how to do it. And that's what I put in there.
So you want to offer clarity through the chaos.
Correct.
Because
absolutely.
there's a lot of chaos these days. You want to be Chance? Getting any clarity right now is definitely good for sure. So let me ask you a little bit. So how can someone get your book?
So you can go online. You can request it. You can come to an event. You come to an appointment. I offer a complimentary copy after every appointment. So absolutely, there's multiple ways. Come to an appointment, call, request it. We will send you
what that review's about, and then why they should be taking action today. Why does it matter now?
So we have a proprietary retirement insider report that we put together. It covers all 5 key areas of retirement. It's a very holistic approach. We look at healthcare planning, tax planning, income planning, investment planning, and legacy planning. What does that look like all together? What exactly is it? How does it work step by step to help me accomplish whatever it is that I'm trying to accomplish? That's what it is.
I love that. You know, one of the things I get a lot is folks say, Paul, what's the most important question in retirement? It's really simple. It's the question you didn't think to ask. It's that one question that an expert knows because they take the time to get to know you. They know how to reach into your life, question, find out what matters, what you're passionate about, why you're doing what you're doing. All of these aspects lead to a good financial plan. So maybe you've got a great advisor. Maybe you've accumulated well, but maybe you feel like something's not there when it comes to your retirement. It's just not spoken about enough. And believe me, to Chance's point, preservation is a vital part of retirement planning. Pick up the phone, give Chance and his team a call. It's a complimentary review. 855-348-3018. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these short messages.
Call 855-348-3018 now to receive your complimentary tax map with your Retirement Insider Review. Learn multiple strategies that can protect you from higher taxes now and in the future. Taxes are a threat to your financial stability in retirement. Protect yourself from the potential threat of rising taxes. As a retirement planning financial advisory firm, Chance and his team will help you navigate the financial waters to pursue your retirement goals. Call 855-348-3018 today. Chance and his team provide inclusive retirement services such as investment directives for your portfolio, income-producing strategies, and wealth preservation plans for your family and legacy. Call Chance and his team at 855-348-3018 now for your complimentary tax map with your Retirement Insider Review. Discover tax strategies to keep more of what you have saved in retirement, or use the QR code below to schedule today.
Welcome back to Strong Point Financial in the Black. I'm your host, Paul Gebhardt, and today we're with founder Chance Robinson of Strong Point Financial. Again, thank you so very much, Chance, for being with us today. The topics that you're talking about are so poignant to everybody's lives, right? We know that our financial plans have to be in order. It's important because money touches every aspect of our life. From college education, I mean, we want our kids to have the best education, don't we?
Right.
Right? We want to make sure we get the best medical care in retirement. We talked about health tragedies and the things that can happen. And you want to make sure you're taken care of. All of these aspects are important in planning. But I want to talk to you about the hidden tax.
Okay.
That inflation thing that's kind of the buzzword going around. I mean, I don't think I've ever remembered a time where inflation was so noticeable.
Yeah. I mean, right now, where we're at inflation's at, 30, 40-year highs. It's consistently been over 8%, all year. And they're just more and more aggressive at how do we tame it? How do we get it back down? How do we get control of this? And, if we're not going to kid ourselves, and we know that the CPI report doesn't account for all inflation, everything is not inside of that bucket. So the number is actually a couple more percentage points higher there. When we look at, food cost and things like that, they're a bit higher than 8% are, right? So, it's a generalized fact. So inflation, we can't continue to live the same way that we live today if the costs are consistently increasing. And we know that, over the past 100 years, inflation's averaged about 3%, right? Maybe a little bit lower over the past 10 until just recently. Now, if I'm going to be going into retirement and stay retired, okay, a short-term inflation bump, I might be able to escape past that.
Right.
But where we're at consistently throughout the year, and we've stayed over 8%, I have to make some adjustments. I have to have a plan going forward to say, hey, I can't spend the same amount of money that I was spending because it's not stretching as far as it used to. The average American household right now is spending more than $400 more per month than they were last year.
$400 a month more.
Yeah.
Wow, so where's that money coming from? You know?
It used to be coming from the government. They were handing it out. It's not happening anymore.
True, that's very true. So let me ask you, because inflation is one of those things where I think it really confounds people, because I think they believe there's really nothing they can do about it. But you say, no, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, yeah.
There are things you can do.
Absolutely. You've got to, first thing is understanding, getting a budget in place and understanding where I've got to cut cost at. There's a lot of things that I just don't need. I think us as a culture,
yes,
we're so used to the instant gratification. Amazon has a big part to do with this.
We're used to consuming, right?
Hey, if I order something today, it shows up tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm so used to that instant gratification. And we have to take a moment and pause and have some hesitation there. You go to a car lot right now and you want to buy a brand new car and they want to mark it up like, oh, well, the sticker says, $40,000. And, so we'll sell it to you for 55, because of supply chain issues and everything else it is that we're having. So we have to take a moment to pause and get things under wrap in our life and understand where we're at, where inflation's at, where everything's at. We got to put the necessities ahead of the wants. That's what really has to start happening.
I love that. Let me ask you, how frequently should an advisor be working with their client, Chance?
In a market like this, I'd say at least quarterly.
Really?
At least quarterly. A lot of times advisors use the set it and forget it approach. Stay put, stay for the long run, don't move, just stay where it's at. But you get your statement and what do you see? You see buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell.
Yeah.
Why aren't they taking their own advice? Right. Let's be realistic
That's a
about
great
this.
point. Yeah.
That's not what I said. That's not a buy and hold strategy right there, So so right now I'm meeting with my clients periodically throughout the year, and we're reviewing their report and we're just working along through that, because when things are changing, and we know how fast things are changing in our economy right now. When things are changing, your advisor needs to understand that you have goals, you have family, you have loved ones that you have to protect and provide for, and we have to account for those things.
Yeah.
Advisors, I can't stress this enough. Your advisor is not earning their money by making you money. That's not where they earn their money at. If the market goes up, you can make money all on your own. Your advisor earns their money in the part where the market's going down and you're not going down all the way with it. Your advisor earns their money in the down market. That's where they earn it at, and stopping you from losing what everybody else is losing. That's where it's earned.
Really? I like that.
Absolutely.
It's a good approach. So what do you say to folks out there, what are the key elements of knowing when to meet with their advisor? Is it like a life event? And if so, what are some of the life events that you'd like folks to reach out and let you know about?
Yeah, I mean, in today's time and frame where things are at economically, there has to be some stop loss built into your plan, whatever that number may be. I like to offer the advice: go by the rule of 100.
Okay.
Look at your age. If I am 60% of my money should be in something that I can't lose. If I am upside down in that, I need to make some adjustments right now, right? We need to make some adjustments where we do have this volatility. We know the Fed is going to continue raising rates. They've already come out and said that they have to get this inflation animal under control. So we know volatility is going to continue to play a part as long as that goes. In that scenario, I need to take a more proactive approach rather than to sit back and just wind up and see where things land. That's what I have to do right now.
Procrastination. Do you find procrastination is one of those things that folks really miss on? I mean, is it the area where you see that their portfolios are impacted the most?
Absolutely. I think a lot of people, when times get tough, they want to just put their head in the sand and say, I just don't want to look at it. I think a lot of you at home could probably attest to, like, hey, I get a statement like, I don't want to look at it right now. I just don't want to look at it.
Yeah.
You can't afford to. You can't afford to. I mean, if we look back statistically, there's some interesting statistics. We look at, 2000 to 2002, where the market, the S&P drops 47%.
I remember that.
07 to 09, the market drops 50%.
Yeah.
where we're at now, we have some rules amongst society that we all know, right? We all know what goes up must come down.
Yeah.
We also know the bigger they are,
the harder they fall.
we know these things, we
Yes.
just don't follow them, right?
True, that's so true.
Everybody knows we should buy low and sell high,
Yeah.
right? So when the market's at an all-time high like it is right now, even though we're seeing this volatility and turmoil, the market's still at an all-time high.
Yeah.
When's the best time to get off the table?
Yeah, when it's high, right?
That's it. We know these things,
Yeah.
but so many of us don't follow. We're like, oh, I just don't want to look at it right now.
Yeah.
I want to leave it alone, and you can't afford to do that right now.
Yeah.
Not when we look back. If we lost 47%, then we lost 50%, and we're up a couple 100% from that, what do we lose this time? Let's be modest and just say 30. Let's just say 30. How long does it take to make that back up?
Right. How much time?
How much time? And if I'm 60, do I want to wait till 70? Because the average span to make that up is 7 to 8 years.
Wow. That's a long time to get back. That's a long time.
That's a long time to get back to where you're at.
So listen, there's folks out there, you know, they're like what you're offering them, right? You're the light, right? You're offering a way through, a strategy for them. Remind the good folks out there when they call in today what you're offering them.
We are offering a complimentary retirement insider report. Our retirement insider report is broken down into 5 key areas of retirement planning. We go into healthcare planning, tax planning, investment planning, income planning, and legacy planning. All 5 key areas of retirement planning where we take a holistic approach and look at every aspect. We run through Social Security maximization and tax and income and expense analysis and all of these different things that are put into that report. So you have a specific guide and a plan to follow to accomplish exactly what it is that you want to accomplish in your portfolio.
That's good stuff. The bottom line is, what are you doing right now to make sure your plan is on track? Not 6 months ago, not 1 year ago, but now, right now, because things are different. You've got questions, you want answers. This is an opportunity. Chance and his team's offering a complimentary review. They're investing in you. All you need to do is invest in that phone call, 855-348-3018. Thank you for being with us. Be well. Enjoy your retirement.